Hey everyone, this is Poorten here. I'm just going live for my Sunday evening nutrition and supplement question and answer. I'm going to wait a couple of seconds as people hop on. As you might have seen in the past, these are just kind of informational sessions. I'm not making any claims, not legally doing it through that. I just want to give answer some questions. I'll talk to people about two very common questions that are asked in the group about nutrition, different aspects of nutrition. Nutrition is a very broad topic. It can go in different directions, in addition to supplementation, which is also a very common question as well answered in the group. Looks like someone new hopped on. Thanks for hopping on. Feel free to say hi, introduce yourself. Looks like Abby Lavoy. Thanks for hopping on. So good to see you here. Thanks. Also, so good to see you here. Feel free to ask a question. Let me know if there's certain things you want to learn about regarding nutrition, supplementation, and so forth. As I said, those are two pretty broad topics that can kind of go in many directions. That's kind of why I want to do this for you, answer any questions you have, again, regarding nutrition, supplementation, and so forth. And like I said, those are kind of two of the most common questions asked in the group. What can I eat for XYZ, or what supplements are good for XYZ as well? Obviously, as I said, I can't make any claims regarding supplementation in addition to food. But from a very broad perspective, supporting our body with nutrient-dense foods is essential. Of course, it's putting it lightly, but it's certainly essential to support overall health and well-being. Nutrient-dense foods really are essentially foods that come from God's green earth. Fruits, vegetables, specifically fruits, vegetables, lean proteins. If I love my animal protein, some people are vegetarian, so you can get your vegetarian sources of protein as well. Healthy fats are also very beneficial. What do I mean by healthy fats? I love nuts, cashews, almonds, love almond butter in particular. I can just take a spoon from the jar and just take a couple scoops of almond butter. It's a good source of essential fatty acids and also good healthy calories as well. I kind of person where I just need to get calories in as much as possible, especially healthy ones. Again, thank you everyone so much for hopping on. It's so good to see those that are joining for this Facebook Live. Feel free to let me know, as I said, if you have any questions, there's certain things you want to cover regarding nutrition, supplementation, and so forth. Like I said initially, I can speak from a very direct but broad perspective, and I can't make any claims regarding certain things just from a legal and ethical perspective. But I can certainly answer your questions the best as possible regarding, as I said, regarding nutrition, supplementation, and so forth. From a very basic perspective, we're kind of in the end of summer. Not really, I don't want to say end of summer. That's kind of depressing. But summer's been here for quite a while, and I live in southeastern North Carolina, and it's really hot. Today it was like 90 degrees with some pretty intense humidity. I was outside most of the afternoon on the baseball field. It was great to be out there, but when you're in the heat, especially with the humidity, it can get really hot and start sweating really fast. It's kind of the nature of the way it is. But staying hydrated is essential, and that really goes back to the basics when it comes to supporting health and well-being, the basics of good hydration, the basics of eating nutrient-dense foods. Hydration is essential. One way to kind of tell there are a couple ways to tell how hydrated you are. One is just kind of your energy levels, how you feel throughout the day. If you feel like you're dry mouth, or if you feel like you have energy, and also just from a physiological perspective, look at your urine. The better it is, the more clear it is. If it's like more orange yellowish, it means may not be fully hydrated. But if it's more clear. It's more of a sign that you are pretty well hydrated. Again, not making any claims as to one or the other, but that's a good way to check out, make sure you are getting the proper hydration needed to support health and well-being. Again, from a hydration perspective, I've spoken about this in the past. Staying hydrated is essential. Our bodies, our cells need hydration. It's also very important to make sure we're getting the important electrolytes needed. Hey, Melissa, thanks so much for hopping on. Good to see you here. Again, this is I love doing this. This is really fun and enjoyable for me. Talk about nutrition and supplement question and answer. It's for you. I can talk about this all day and all night. I love doing it, but feel free to ask any questions. Those that are watching now, and if you are on watch the replay, feel free to ask a question there as well. Let me know if there's areas that things you want to learn about with regard to nutrition and supplementation. So like I was saying, staying hydrated is essential, but also kind of taking a little bit of a step further from two perspectives. Sometimes just straight water is good. It's very important. But sometimes straight water can be kind of boring. It's like, okay, this is okay. So I do recommend an easy thing to do is just put some pink Himalayan sea salt in water, and also just squeeze a lemon juice into some water, and that's a good way to support healthy hydration levels. That's a very positive and good thing. The other nice thing is it doesn't sweeten it up, but it adds a little taste, a little bit of a taste, not just plain water. So adding, as I said, squeeze a lemon in there, squeeze a lime in there. You can even squeeze a little bit from orange juice, but just don't recommend orange juice from a bottle. But squeezing an orange is a good way to support hydration, especially if you're like kind of bored of just regular water. You can do that. I also like to use electrolyte stick packs. Because I'm so active, like love bike riding, working out in the sun, playing baseball. I do notice a difference in my energy, my clarity, and overall hydration levels when I do use a good clean electrolyte stick pack. It has a watermelon flavor, and it has a very safe and science-based combination of sodium, potassium, and magnesium. So that's an easy thing to incorporate into your water to for hydration purposes. It's also good when you're stressed out. When we're stressed out, when our anxiety levels are up, our body actually is craving more magnesium. And because the stress level's up, our body is working to manage that. So we might need an extra magnesium to support to support those levels. So I do recommend, again, an electrolyte stick pack is great, and you can also put some pink Himalayan sea salts, squeeze some lemon in there, squeeze some lime in there, whatever you want to do. It's kind of like, or even just look up recipes for infused water. Infused water is just that. You're kind of putting some little bit of flavoring, and it also helps with hydration levels as well. Thanks everyone for hopping on. I like to do these once or twice a week because many people are asking very common questions in the group. What's a good what should I do for gut health relating to XYZ, or what foods are good to support cardiovascular health, and so forth. So I do like to answer any questions, like I said, common questions regarding nutrition and supplementation to support well-being. I just always carry my water with me wherever I go. Like I said, I was out in the sun all afternoon, so I would like to make sure I'm well hydrated into the evening as well. So I did sweat quite a bit this afternoon, being outside, running around and so forth. So it's good to make sure the hydration's there. So like I said, from the nutrition is a very broad subject as far as what it encompasses. Many people do very well on a keto approach. Many people do well on a paleo approach. Many people do well low sugar, Mediterraneanish, and so forth. Excuse me. And with regards to like, okay, what's the best diet for me? There's two answers to that, but they all lead back to the same place. The best diet is the one that works for you. The best diet is the one. Okay, sorry, I'll get back to Brittany in a moment. The best diet is the one that works for you, based on your background. I'm Italian, part Italian, German, and Hungarian. So my DNA and my genes are kind of going to favor Mediterranean type foods and so forth. That's just the way my genes are. I'm also the type of person that my body does much better with animal protein. Like, God, 12 years ago, I was vegetarian for a couple of weeks, and it did not go well. I lost weight pretty quickly. My energy was kind of all over the place and so forth. So for me, I know my body works best with animal protein for satiation, to keep weight on and so forth. So that's what works best for me. I've also been gluten-free for 13 years, sugar-free for about 10, 11 or so maybe. I haven't had soda, sweet drinks since Valentine's Day 2010. Got a weird memory, but I certainly remember pretty well. So the best diet is the one that's going to work for you, based on your background, your genes, your lifestyle, your stress levels, and so forth. That's what's most important. Some people also do very well on the gluten-free. I've been gluten-free for 13 years. It works really well for me. Some people don't need to, and they can have gluten without an issue. But one of the most important things I recommend people doing is listening to your body and how you feel after eating certain foods. Some people can do, my family can eat breads and pastas with gluten and so forth and flours without a concern. For me, based on stress and life and so forth, I don't handle it well, and it causes inflammation. It can have an effect on gut-brain axis and my emotions and anxiety and so forth. So it's really important to listen to your body, see if certain foods are like exciting you and making you feel really good, and also see if certain foods are they feel good in the moment, but that moment it feels really good, but then afterwards, like, I don't really feel good anymore, and you kind of have a hangover effect where you just crash, and it's known as the blood sugar roller coaster, where your blood sugar spikes and you crash, and excessive amounts of that can have effects on insulin levels, inflammatory markers, and so forth. So the best diet is going to be the one that works for you. And it's really important to listen to your body, see how you feel with certain foods. The best diet is going to be the one that works for you, the one you can stick with, and also kind of matches up with your DNA. And we don't have to take DNA test, but based on your genetic background and so forth, there is some truth to that. Those that live in Alaska and certain parts of the world, people in Alaska, they don't have access to many fresh fruits and vegetables and so forth. They just kind of have access to what's available there. They can go to stores, of course, but it's really important to kind of look back at what your ancestry is. So I think there is some truth to that. Whether it's 100%, can't say exactly, but I think there is some truth to kind of following your ancestry and so forth, and see what's going to work for you. But the most important thing overall is listening to your body when you eat different foods, how you feel, see how you feel when you eat certain foods, and so forth. And to take that a step further, that's cool. We're seeing how we feel when we eat certain foods. But to take that a step further, how do you feel when you eat around certain people? Do certain people just calm you down and you feel really good and you're happy? There's really no stress in the world. But do certain people and environments cause stress levels, increase your stress levels? You're out of whack, you're out of balance, and so forth. And with that, when you're in a fight or flight stress state, it's going to be very hard to be able to digest food properly. So it's really important. Like I said, it's really important to notice how you feel when you eat around certain people, certain environments. Don't really recommend, if possible, but I don't really recommend eating lunch at your desk, especially if you work in an office, because our bodies are concentrating on working. Our bodies are not in a rest and digest state. So it is, if possible, see if you can take a little break, and where your body is concentrating on eating, not necessarily concentrating on working. So it's really important to recognize how environments impact our health. Not just the nutrient-dense foods we eat, but certain environments can make us feel really good and excited. But certain environments can bring us down too. Again, from a work environment, from a co-workers or family or whatever the situation is, certain environments can have a very big effect on well-being. And I do stress that empathetically, and I've experienced it myself. Certain family events in the past, I was physically there, but my emotions were somewhere else, and I was not there, completely there. So it is important. And from that perspective too, I actually just picked up a book last night about somatic experiences and how our body expresses certain emotions in certain environments that might cause a trigger, trauma response, and so forth too. So if you feel you have sciatica, there is such a thing as emotional sciatica. Or if you have heartburn or heart pain, that can mean that you have heartburn, and whether it's a family situation or a relationship situation, that can have a big effect on our physiology as well. So like I said, just from multiple perspectives, listen to your body is essential in multiple situations to make sure that everything is in line, everything is in balance. I know I'm kind of got in different directions here, but it all plays together. This is holistic health and well-being. This isn't just giving someone a menu and sending them on their way and kind of hoping for the best. It's really taking a holistic approach to well-being, how we feel, and so forth. It all plays a role. Our environment, our relationships, our physical activity, and everything works together to support well-being, not just a one-pronged approach like Brittany and I have spoken about in the past. So I'm kind of talking generally, but I really want to express the importance of holistic health. Hey, Ellie, thanks so much for hopping on. The importance of holistic nutrition from a whole body perspective. The food we put in our bodies, the nutrition we get from. I actually just finished having dinner a little while ago, and I had some like lettuce, olive oil, vinegar, some chicken with some turmeric, garlic on it. Love spicy food, so it's really good. It's very basic, but it works. The garlic, turmeric, spice up the chicken a little bit, and again I had some olive oil for the healthy fats, and some vinegar for some little bit of nice flavonoids, which have anti-inflammatory properties. Awesome, thank you so much. LA, good to see that you filled them out. So good to see that. So again, I was speaking from a broad but direct perspective when it comes to nutrition. And the other aspects, gonna go touch on a couple of different things when it comes to supplements, because it's another very common question. We get in the group, probably once or twice a day, at least once or twice a day, but at the very minimum, once every other day, we'll get a question, what's a good supplement for gut health, or for cardiovascular health, or for immune health, and so forth. And I'm gonna touch on different things here. I put up a post yesterday evening or the day before, and it talked about how one of the most common name brand vitamin supplements most commonly marketed, you hear a lot about it on radio, TV, marketed products, Centrum. Say that, it's a Centrum. Uses ingredients that are not recognized by the body. And some of those ingredients can potentially have a harmful effect. Again, I can't make any claims here, but based on the science and the research, some of these ingredients do not do well with our body. So that's kind of step one, is knowing that, I touched on that, and the importance of quality nutritional products is really essential. And I'll just start there, and I'll kind of work backwards a little bit. So there's actually, as of now, there's 111 people like that post. Some were very ecstatic and they liked the post. Other people were there's expressed different views regarding nutrition, supplementation, and so forth. And I kind of touch on this here. New supplementation is exactly that. You supplement a healthy lifestyle and a healthy diet. As the saying goes, you cannot replace supplements. Do not replace food. Foods can't replace supplements. And I'm gonna go back direct here, kind of macro perspective, micro perspective. Again, supplements can't replace food. Foods can't replace supplements. Supplements do play a role in supporting health and well-being, and there's thousands of studies showing this. I need to. I can certainly share them, and I'll go back to kind of macro and micro here. But they play a role to give our bodies the nutrients and needs that I can't get from food alone. Just from that perspective, due to nutrient depletion in the soil, increased toxins in the environment, increased stressors, many other concerns that we experience on a daily basis, supplements can do that. They can support a healthy lifestyle and a healthy diet. So you can't just say, here's a supplement, and then go and eat processed food from fast food and so forth. That processed food will create massive inflammation, and it'll help. The supplements will help you, but over the long term, that's just kind of adding fuel to the fire from an inflammation perspective. As an important, correct, exact. Well said, Ellie. It's all part of a process to support well-being, and it's a piece of the puzzle, but it's not the whole puzzle. You can't just take a probiotic, hope for the best if it's not for the right environments, for the right concern, and so forth. So they are there to support a healthy lifestyle and a healthy diet. And I did mention about the nutrient depletion in the soil. It's real. You listen to Dr. Mark Hyman and a lot of wellness experts. They will talk about how monocropping versus is a concern for many reasons. I'm not going to get into a farming talk, but from a nutrient depletion in the soil, it's true. Just do a Google search for it. There's much less magnesium and boron and sulfur and different minerals that we need in the soil, and much less now than there was about 30, 40, 50 years, even 20 years ago. It take about, don't quote me exactly, but it would take about 6 or 7 apples now to equal 1 apple of maybe when my mom was mid-60s was a kid. So there are much less nutrients in the soil, which has an effect on our health. We ideally eat foods, nutrient-dense foods, to support cellular health and well-being and so forth. So it is important to recognize that while starting off and eating whole nutrient-dense foods is step one. No one can ever deny that. Incorporating additional nutrient support from high-quality nutritional products is essential to, I can't say it's not essential, it kind of is very helpful when it comes to supporting health and well-being at the, from the microbiome perspective, in addition to from the cellular perspective. There's much research done at universities, institutions, companies around the world that study what it takes to keep a body and a cell healthy. Correct. Exactly. Very well said, Ellie. Very well said. It's certainly true. Much of the research that I've been following for the past 17 years myself, and just I love learning about this stuff. But my experience in the field is when it comes to supporting the cellular health. There is an individual, Dr. Myron Wentz, who created the test kit for the Epstein-Barr, mononucleosis, herpes, measles, and I think some other viruses back in the 70s and 80s with a company called Go Labs. Go Labs is out of Salt Lake City, Utah. And when he was doing his research in the laboratory, he had to work on healthy cells, create healthy cells, in addition to creating the test kits for viruses. So if you or I were to, I don't want to, but if you or I were to go to a doctor's office or hospital and get tested for Epstein-Barr, mono herpes, they're probably still using his test kits. And I get to the punchline here. The point is when he was doing the research in the laboratory and figuring out what it would take to keep a cell healthy, he was essentially, this is backed up. Don't have the exact source, but it's backed up. Many people can prove this. He was able to keep his cell healthy in the laboratory indefinitely. I think for like 10 plus years, with the right amount of vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, and so forth, flavonoids, which come from grapes, grape seeds, and so forth, indefinitely. So like 10 years. So he would give this healthy self, this is thriving and doing great. He would give that healthy, thriving cell a herpes virus. Just for example, that virus didn't stand a chance because it was healthy. And I'll come back to a macro perspective. If you can't keep a cell in the laboratory healthy, how are we going to keep a cell in the body healthy? Because there's in the laboratory, it's very controlled. It's a very controlled setting. In our bodies, we're walking around and we're exposed to toxins and smog in the environment, especially in urban areas. So being able to keep a cell healthy is really priceless. And this is this is after years of research, what it takes to keep a cell healthy. He was able to keep it healthy indefinitely with the right amounts. Again, I don't know the amounts which it was, but the point is he was able to support health at the cellular level, cellular nutrition indefinitely. Again, that's kind of what incentivized him to really transition from just being a testing manufacturer to preventative and maintenance and supporting health and well-being. And that's when he started a nutritional company in 1992 on the basis of cellular nutrition, on the basis of what he learned in laboratory and with X amount of vitamin C and D and E and magnesium and calcium and so forth, etc., and making sure and utilizing that research, what it takes to keep a body and cell healthy. Of course, these are not drugs, so we cannot make any claims as to taking it for XYZ. There are many testimonials of people's experiences with nutritional products, but when it comes to, sorry, I just had to make sure there's nothing too important. Just from one of my baseball teammates. But when it comes to supporting health and well-being, it's really important to go back into what I was mentioning a little while ago about very common name brand nutritional products. Is that it's important to choose a product that's high quality, to make sure that's going to support, has the science behind it to support health and well-being. And I'm going to go to micro perspective here. The ingredients standpoint is kind of sad and scary when it comes to some nutritional products. There are third-party tests done like consumerlab.com, which will find that there's like rice or sawdust in certain nutritional products, which is scary because there's no reason for sawdust or rice or other potential ingredients that will cause a concern. There's no reason to have that there. So it's important to not just kind of go through your Costco store, close your eyes. This looks like a cool vitamin C. Take it and hope for the best. You don't know what's in it. You don't know what the manufacturing standards are like. It's hard to say. Again, hard to say exactly what the ingredients are like. A lot of the times, too, from a quality perspective, it's important to know that the product is going to break down. If a product doesn't break down within 30 to 45 minutes, 30 minutes tops, or 45 minutes tops, within that time frame, it's not going to break down at all. It's going to go out your body basically looking the same way that it did going in, which is disgusting but true. A good nutritional product will break down within 15 minutes tops. I've actually seen, I don't have X-ray vision, but I've actually seen a nutritional product break down in front of my eyes within 7 to 9 minutes. It looked like kind of like a fish tank. And the water, the liquid in there, basically this similar to the stomach lining of our bodies. So they would put the pill in there to ensure it breaks down. And I've actually seen this in front of my eyes. Within 7 to 9 minutes, the pill broke down, and that's what it needs. With a certain manufacturing standard that companies use, you can guarantee that it's going to break down in your body within 15 minutes tops. But the best ones are going to break down in your body within 7 to 9 minutes. I'm just talking a lot here, so I wanted to get some little water there. I was out in the sun and want to make sure I'm well hydrated throughout the evening. So like I said, making sure that the product is quality is going to break down. And from an ingredient perspective, it uses ingredients that the body recognizes. The body doesn't recognize like titanium dioxide and like certain ingredients. It's often cheap fillers because that's the companies will use because it's convenient. So it's important to recognize that too. I think we don't have to necessarily be chemists when it comes to choosing nutritional products, but kind of just be aware enough to know that the bare bones nutritional products you see in many stores are exactly that. They're bare bones. They might help you out a little bit, but overall in the long term, they might not really be the best for you, best for your body. Because you might be, to a certain perspective, you might be just throwing your money down the toilet, especially if the product doesn't break down. Like I said, there's this saying, nurses consider some nutritional products bedpan because they don't break down at all. It's kind of scary but true. Just goes out the back end. But the good news is, not all products are like that. There are certain manufacturing standards, companies that take their manufacturing very seriously to ensure that the product is clean, it's pure, it's science-based, and is going to supports the cellular health and well-being. It's really important to recognize that there are companies that do that, and the other good part of that too, with the right company, with the good companies, it's very possible. I can't make any claims. I can share testimonials, but many people do notice a difference in how they feel. They'll notice a difference in their energy, their clarity, their focus, because the bodies and the cells are getting the nutrition it needs that I can't get from food alone. That's the best part. It's like, okay, you're hoping for the best, but when you notice a difference now in how you feel when taking a product, you're gonna want to stay on it because you're gonna realize this is kind of cool. I can feel better when I'm incorporating good nutritional products. My body's also benefiting. So it's important to recognize it's not just hoping for the best when you take a product, but also like you feel better. I've been taking good products for 17 and a half years since middle of January 2005. And I do notice a difference now how I feel pretty quickly after taking them. Mostly more energy, clarity, focus. I do have friends with autoimmune concerns that have noticed a difference in their fogginess, their energy, well-being, sometimes less symptoms of headaches. Cannot make any claims again, of course. I want to be clear about that. But there are situations where even people who have more medical concerns, they feel better. And again, if you're feeling better, you're gonna want to continue feeling better. You're not gonna want to go back to the groggy and tired self that you were. So a good nutritional product is really, it can be a good form of insurance for like under $2 a day or so. You can have a good form of insurance to support health and well-being and so forth. I'm going to talk, macro, micro as well. When it comes to nutritional products, like I said, there's so many in the market. There are so many, even like new companies popping up every month or so because it's a very hot market. People want to support their health and well-being. So this is a book, The Comparative Guide to Nutritional Products. It ranks 1,600 nutritional products based on their formulation, their purity, potency, bioavailability, and so forth. So it's a book. It's not too big, and it also goes into cell signaling a little bit, different aspects of that, activating NRF2 and NRF2 pathways. You do not have to know that all this. That's kind of technical. But what that actually does is it activates your body's endogenous antioxidant system. So ability to create more antioxidants than you would actually get from food alone, or even from a supplement. A traditional supplement might have, say, 500 milligrams of vitamin C, but there is a way to activate endogenous antioxidant systems and create more vitamin C than you would have gotten just from the pill. So you can create 1,000 times more than that. Again, this is not making any claims, but that's what the science says. It can be backed up many times over. So this ranks, again, the book ranks 1,600 nutritional products in the market, from your Wannadees, from your Herbalifes and Salus and direct selling companies and so forth, to many of the products you see in the market. This one is for the Americas. There's other ones for the countries. The one I recommend that I've taken for, again, 17 and a half years, it's been quite a journey, for the past 11 years has been ranked one of the top products available. So it is a cool third-party resource to find out what good to look for in a nutritional product, in addition to what are the better ones. Like I said, with the better ones, you're going to guarantee that the ingredients are clean. They're pure, they're potent, and they're going to break down effectively in the body to give our body and cells it needs. And when you're doing so, you're going to feel better. You're going to notice a difference in how you feel, and you're not going to want to go back. I notice a difference if I take them later on in the day, or if I don't rarely skip a day, but if I do take later on in the day, especially if I have a busy morning, I will notice a difference in how I feel and self-worth. So quality is important. I don't recommend gummies. There may be a couple of gummies available that are kind of higher quality, but gummies for the most part are just full of sugar and processed ingredients and so forth. Blue 5 and red 48. There's no reason for that. There's no reason for that. A good product, like I said, will break down effectively. We'll have a good formulation. It's going to support health. There's most likely going to be some clinical research behind it. We do not have to be chemists or biologists to understand the research, but it's just good knowing that it works. It does support health, and it's not just a random combination of nutrients put together, but it does support health and well-being. If anyone is interested in learning more about what I recommend to my clients, friends, family, I've had a bunch of people in the group I recommend them to. Many have been having a good experience. So if you are looking to learn more, feel free to reach out, and I'd be happy to help you out. Thanks a lot.